You're welcome to News Echoes. My name is Shegun Johnson, and we're bringing you the latest across the globe. Uh, we want to discuss issues affecting Russia, Ukraine, US in that order, along with some other things happening in Africa. New developments in Kenya, new developments in Nigeria. But in this studio with me, in faraway Moscow, Russia, is Dr. Godwin Ibe. Dr. Ibe, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
East London is our man, in-house researcher, Ambassador Nat Iyako. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody.
My friend in Milan, Mark Godwin, you are welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Shago. Good morning to
And
you.
at the seat of the capital in Nigeria, the only one occupying that seat, Dr. Osita Anyemeka, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we missed you last week, and
Yes,
being the proprietor of a diplomatic university or diplomacy university in Africa, we'll want to hear more from you today. But the first story is on Russia. Deri Dugana, the daughter of Putin's ally, we're told, Alexander Dugin, who is a very formidable philosopher, we understand is the second brain of Putin, was about to be murdered. Unfortunately, he decided to go on a separate car from his daughter, and then there was an explosion. The daughter died. This is a very sad story, but with wide international implications. But let's ask the man on the seat, Dr. Ibe.
yes, it's a very unfortunate incident. Any death, any assassination whatsoever on any human being, especially journalists, is something that should be condemned everywhere in the East, in the West, and there should be no too much politics attached to it. But considering the political views of Daria Dugina and pro-Russian views, it's not too difficult to imagine who could have wanted her dead.
But with
The
some of
federal,
us can't imagine. Who are you imagining did it?
well, the Federal Security Bureau has already blamed what's her name again? It's quite difficult to remember. Well,
Yeah,
a Ukrainian who's responsible for that. Um,
yeah, we saw
she
the cars, but the Ukrainian government said, I don't have anything to do with it.
well, you understand that the father of the suspect claimed that
Mm.
she served in the Ukrainian army. The relative, the cousin, also said that yes, she served in the Ukrainian army, and even her son also served in the Ukrainian army. So it's surprising to hear that from Kiev. It's difficult to imagine believing that version of the story, but at least the Federal Security Bureau released video footage, the identity document of the suspect. Um, it's anybody's. You can believe whatever version you want to believe, but the point is that assassination of anyone, especially a journalist, something that should be condemned. In Russia, we'll miss her. A burial was organized for her yesterday. We'll miss her because, in any case, we always want to hear all versions, all sides of the story. Um, whether it's from the east, from the west, and being one of the two children of Alexander Dugin, so he's lost 50% of his children. It's a tragedy for the family. It's not something you
Let me
want to.
let me ask you a question, Dr. Ibi. Do you think Russia ever had hand in the killing of Lechenko in Britain a few years ago?
In
I'm not
what?
sure I
Killing of
pronounced it.
who?
Of
Litvinenko?
one man. Yeah,
Litvinenko.
yeah,
Um, Russia was accused by the UK.
yeah.
Russia denied involvement, but the evidence wasn't displayed publicly in terms of. Russia complained of not getting hold of evidence and not being
Okay,
part of
but
the
there was
investigation.
another implication of Russia in trying to murder two other people in UK. I'm trying to say that has Russia itself been trying to go into other countries and murder those who are against them? That's what I'm just asking.
There have been such accusations, no doubt. Russia has denied them, and Russia has not been allowed fully into the investigative process. It's been kind of classified, secret, lots of secrecy surrounding the investigative process, and it's usually one side who says, "Well, we have all the evidence, we've done all the research, and these are our conclusions." We are not seeing this exactly the same in this Dasha, because I don't think anyone has asked for evidence and not gotten it.
Mm,
So
okay.
it's one thing for one side to
All
say
right.
the other side did
I'll come
something.
back to you in a second. Let me ask the proprietor of Diplomacy University, Dr. Usita Niemeka, what will be the implications of this diplomatically between Russia, Ukraine, and US?
I think what I always look at is some history. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to Boris Yeltsin's time, and then Putin. Present-day Russia. There has been a history of journalists being tried, misjustice, killed, disappear, abducted. I never traveled to Russia. I never lived in Russia. What I'm talking about is stories that we hear and relationship between Russia and the rest of the world, not just UK, not just the US, is that these things can happen. So anybody who goes to Russia as a journalist trying to report things that they see, things that they call facts, might be in trouble. And being in trouble means that for those of us who are journalists outside Russia, we are scared to go there, but we ask questions. The thing about all of that is that it gives journalism the biggest score in scare, because if you are a journalist and you're asking questions in Russia, this is what we are told. You don't ask it openly, and you don't report openly things that that might be fact, because the fear is that you might just disappear. And these are what native Russians. These are people from neighboring countries, whoever they are. So relationship between Russia and the rest of the world has always been tinted by that. You think that going to Russia will mean that you will be gagged, not to say the things. But for those of them who live in Russia, people like Dr. Ibe, I like to listen to him once in a while, because his perspective on things that are happening in Moscow are learning for me. There are real new stuff for me to learn. He has the perspective that I've never had. But for me, the story has always been so since 1991. I mean,
All right.
I have
All right.
this.
I think you have led me to the next question I'm going to ask from Ambassador Nat. Ambassador Nat, you live in the United Kingdom. The Russian government nailed the career of Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson has always been able to get away with all his rascalities in the political domain. But when the Russian factor came in, they opened his dirty linings, and the British conservative elements said enough was enough. To what extent has Russia been affecting the political domain of United Kingdom?
Well, I think from history that that rivalry has been on, and we thought it was going to uh, go down after the Cold War, but we know that the cold peace replaced Cold War, and so many things happening behind the scene. I mean, espionage, and so many other things. And you notice that in diplomacy, uh, they meet behind the scene, negotiate, discuss things they can do together, discuss things where they differ. And so, you know, former USSR was everywhere in the world. Russia also is everywhere in the world.
But
And
will you
so,
agree? Will you agree with me that it was when the issue of that man Lebdev, who was given, um,
Litvinenko.
who was
Litvinenko, Alexander
given
Litvinenko, yeah?
Salisbury.
his problem came.
No, but
Yes,
the
go ahead,
most
please. Let me solve
but
this one now.
the most recent information we had was that it was the British government that was responsible for poisoning some of these Russian citizens. It's all about politics and what they do behind the scene again. You never push to the public or push to the outside world. Sometimes it's a world of different from the actual things happening behind the scene.
Okay, quickly, let's get from Europe.
Because,
Mark,
because
what was the role of Russia in Europe? Has it been positive or negative?
Talking about this whole issue of Dare Tungana, we took it as another plot, even though so much controversy surrounding it. The car bomb exploded in Moscow on Saturday night, killing that young lady, and she's known to be a commentator and the daughter of a nationalist philosopher in Russia. Investigations are still going on. We're waiting on what will be the outcome. But the father the thing is getting messy. And let's take note also, like everybody here has agreed, we'll be having
Okay.
similar issues in time past. Um, she was there are many twists to the story. We don't want to go too deep because we're still waiting for the investigation also. But too many things.
Yeah.
I've heard also from my brother, Dr. Godwin. Yesterday he was putting some lights to it, and I think we might just have to wait for the final investigations results.
Dr. Ibe, the rest of us are sufficiently scared when the United States government asks his citizens to leave Ukraine because Russia is to make a new offensive in Ukraine and they're ready to hit civilian places. What have you to say?
First of all, I want to say Dr. Osita Anyemeka was spot on when he said there have been allegations of attacks on the lives of journalists. I want to remind you that John F. Kennedy was assassinated, the president. I also want to remind you.
Not by Russians. Okay, I'm listening.
Yes. I also want to adequately remind you that I remember 15 journalists: Adam Ward, Alison Parker, Chelsea Bailey, Donna Pite, Gerald Fishman, and so on. The list go on, journalists who have been murdered in the last 5 years, or let's say 10 years, in the last 10 years in the US, and Russia is not involved. So let's not pretend or let's say blow hypocrisy out of proportion. Assassination is terrible, and it's terrible when it's done in the East and when it's done in the West and when it's done to the life of a journalist. And also when investigations are done, the evidence needs to be shared with all parties so that all parties can comment on it. For example, I was seeing new information today from the West about the Dara Dugina and the photograph, and I looked at it critically.
Yes. Why is Russia going to shell civilian houses in Ukraine?
there's a conflict going on there. There's been accusation on both sides of shelling civilian. I think it's unfair to call it a Russian thing, because the Russians have also
Yeah,
said
because the Americans
Ukrainians
say they are leaving.
no, but categorizing it as Russian shelling civilian without taking into account the view of Russian claiming that Ukraine are shelling civilian is a bit one-sided. So let's look at it holistically. There are shellings of
Okay.
civilian infrastructure. That's a given. Both sides are doing it, probably a given. Do both sides intend to do it? That is another question totally. But we have seen that civilian infrastructure are definitely destroyed. Now, about Kiev, historically speaking, if you know Russian history, you know Russia does not have a short memory. And historically, Russia doesn't really forgive things done against them, no matter how long it takes. Everyone speaks about that, at least in the media.
I don't even think it's Russia alone. I'm going to be honest with you. In my own opinion, the Western world doesn't forget, doesn't forgive. That's my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes. And we are seeing this play out. The warning in Kiev by United States to evacuate their citizens. I think maybe they have some intelligence, but it's not the priority of Russia right now. If Russia has publicly claimed that their focus is on Donbass, and they haven't really gotten finished with Donbass yet, they've gotten Lugansk 100%. They're about 60% in Donetsk. They already got in Mariupol, Melitopol, and Kherson. They already occupy close to 25% of the territory of the whole of Ukraine, and they are saying
So
their
Russia
focus
can
on
never be
Donbass.
satisfied. Is that what you're saying? Russia
Let me,
can.
can I ask our doctor
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
Russia want to do, trying to claim all territories that has been taken over by
I do not make I do not make policy for Russia. I can only tell you what has been
because
announced
because
as
Russia
their goal
has
and try to be
Crimea.
fair.
Russia has Crimea. Crimea is deposited with so much mineral resources, a lot of things there, and Russia is not. It has not even done anything with Crimea, and now Russia wants to take every other place, forgetting the fact that it was all of these regions that, on their own, decided to split ways.
Point of correction: Russia has done a lot with Crimea. There's been built a Crimean bridge.
No, but
Russia has improved tourism.
anyway,
Lots of
as at this-
Yes,
as at
there's
this
a lot.
morning,
Okay.
as at
There's
this
a lot.
morning,
Okay. I will need to move on. Today is the Ukrainian Independence Day. Dr. Sita, are we going to party in Ukraine today? Unmute yourself, Dr. Sita. Unmute yourself.
sorry, yes.
Unmute.
It's on mute.
Did somebody mute me? Sorry. Yes, my first response is yes, because partying is a state of mind. All we need to do is to, yes. All we need to do now is to pray too, because for all we know, what has happened in the last couple of months has affected the entire universe. There is there are some alignments that say that if it continues like this, Africa, the way it is now, will suffer, because food will become an issue. So if we want to celebrate, we want to celebrate in prayers, and ask people like you, Bishop, to lead us in such in momentous times.
No,
Because
no.
if
The Ukrainian government said there is no food, no party, nothing will be celebrated, and so Ambassador now.
but even in
Yeah.
sympathy, even in sympathy, Dr. Shegun, what can the rest of the world do? I mean, we're just here watching and hoping that things become better. And if it becomes better, the rest of the world, particularly Africa, is better for it.
Yeah, it's a shame that there will be no party in Ukraine. Ambassador now, what do you say?
Well, there was a party in Abuja over the weekend, and
God.
and Dr. Sita invited everybody. I don't know how many were able to attend. Anyway, the Ukraine, you see, the world is moving on, and the war in Ukraine, everybody is tired of the war. The world is moving on. USA wants to move on. Europe wants to move on. And so Ukraine may be left to alone to sort out the country and their relationship with Russia.
But what we
But
are what we are seeing is that there may not be Ukraine by the end of next year. Ukraine might have been dissolved into Soviet Union.
Ukraine will
Did
be
I think of
around
it?
for Ukraine will be around for some time. This war is going to drag on for some time. Ukraine has been weakened. The stability is no longer there. The
No,
president
somebody's trying to recreate Soviet Union. I'm sorry, I'm not going to mention names, but
well, but
so-
it's not going to be well. The dream is there to recreate USSR, but it's not going to be possible.
thank you very much. Let's quickly go to Turkey. Dr. Ibe, the Nigerian Falcons were left at the Turkish airport to sleep on the floor. Tell us again what happened. Can't we learn something?
It's just the progression of events in terms of not only mismanagement but no um, well thought through policy in terms of that values our athletes, that develops, finds talents, develops them, brings them to the world stage to get all the accolades. It's not the winning of sports that is important, it's the process of winning, the process of developing. That is what we should be celebrating, not even the winning itself. Because if we're able to produce winners by our system of development, we will always produce many more. Talking about these athletes, the Falcons, who are sleeping in the airport because of a 24-hour delay, it's very disgraceful. They are our stars. They are it's the year of the ladies, if not for anything. The men haven't won much, not in the Olympics. The ladies have been doing fantastically well. Even Anthony Joshua, well, he tried, but he lost. We wanted him to win, but the ladies, despite this odds stacked against them, they've come up with first gold, top, and we should. I think we should respect women more. We should develop generally not only women, men, women, but women need more attention at this case because less have been placed on them historically, and this is just another incident in a long chain of events.
Okay, Dr. Stita, you used to be a sports journalist long time ago. What will you say to that? I mean, we look at Nigerian administration concerning sports, and they've been fumbling and fumbling and fumbling, and it's getting worse. What's going on?
It's a sad story. What Otibe just said about women is unique because they did well. But his story is it's has a tenure. While I was in practice, that has always been the problem. Most of the time, we report real action, real sports action, 30%. The treatment of our athletes and our sportsmen, 70%, and none of the 70% is good story. I'm telling you
Wow.
this from from history. So the truth about it is that they have not been prepared for sports. They like the money because there's budget in sports. There's real money in sports. Look at that. So if you're talking about us, we haven't had worse situations in the past where some of them started begging for money to return on their own. But this is just Turkey. Watch them when they come into Nigeria. Watch what will happen. Maybe there will be no power at the airport. They are the risk of looking after themselves. And then the boys in the government that will receive them, the staff of the immigration, we want to extort them. These are our heroes, whether we like it or not. These are the people who are giving us the good names the way we are today. Every other thing has failed. Politics has failed. Our sportsmen are there bringing us glory and glamour and gold. What else? What else are we asking for? They are there, no hope. No hope. Other sportsmen will go to international lounges and stay in comfort. And people are there, calling them, dealing with them with respect. Our people are there, open to even being abused and robbed. This has always been the pain for us. When I left journalism and I was still listening and I started teaching it, it became part of my course. How not to treat Nigerians in foreign land when they are winning us glory. Okay, this will not be the end. This is not going to be the end.
Thank you, Doctor. Ambassador, it appears the federal government has taken some people up on this one. What have they done?
We don't have a federal government. We don't have.
But the secretary has been recalled, hasn't he?
Oh, okay. The Nigerian Bar Association crisis.
No, the concerning the sport, this girl.
Yes, can I say something about that? Recall, yes. Yeah, but watch out tomorrow. He's going to get a juicy office. That's the problem, because there's no repercussion for not doing things right now. He'll be recalled today. By evening tomorrow, he has a bigger office somewhere, somewhere else in the world. That is our problem. For not doing it right.
And just lipstick on a pig.
What we had is,
what
we also had is this is not the first time this is happening to these girls. At the point they were even left to find their way to the training camp.
Yes.
It's a very serious. Yesterday, the presidency came out. President Buhari came out to say that he's going to do everything in his power to make sure this administration gives sports some glory. But his tenure is coming to an end, and it has been wooed throughout his 8 years on sports activities in Nigeria. Imagine these girls sleeping, and like Dr. Sita said, these are our heroes. These are the ones that are putting our name on the map, and they are being treated like this. It's not fair. Nigeria should be ashamed.
I think the worst was when our girls were winning in Cameroon, and they won and got a place in the finals, and they were abandoned there by the federal government, saying that they never imagined they would get to final. I mean, it was the height. I think it was the height of a responsibility for a minister to open his mouth and say, "Oh, we didn't cater for them to get into the finals." I think for me that was the highest, and those guys still brought the Lawrence home. Dr. Ebe, I'll give you the last say before we go on break.
Thank you for giving me the last say. I think everyone has said enough on this. It's despicable. It's nothing to be proud of. We need to do much more than we are doing. Like I said, the joy, the glory should not be in the title. It should be in the process of developing these talents. In the search for talent, the development, and being able to introduce them to the world stage. That is what enables Russia, China, US to always come out tops in lots of these Olympics, whether it's winter or summer. By the way, Russia is even winning in some summer Olympics, and they have lots of winter. When we have a tropical climate, we can't claim all the gold in summer Olympics. So it's a shame. Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll go on a short break. When we return, the only way to break the ASU power, as far as the federal government was concerned, was to set up a parallel union. It's going to be called the Congress of University Academics, CONWA. Don't go away. We'll be coming your way with CONWA.
Hi there, I'm Mary Keurig, and I am a businesswoman in the United States, but I'm also the Global Content Vice President for the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria. I could not be prouder to work with Dr. Osita Anamika and his team on helping to create not just entrepreneurs and skill-based talent that will get out into the workforce and make a living for themselves, but also young leaders. And to that end, with this integrity-rich university environment that's accredited now, and it's just an amazing opportunity for anyone there of any age to jump on board and learn, we want to let you know about a new offering that we have. We have a global governance and diplomacy course now provided by a whole team of people that crosses several countries to put together these resources and lots of great information for those of you who might be on the path toward public service and diplomatic service, NGO leadership, that sort of thing. We hope that you will walk through this open door and enjoy.
When I wrote the book, The Final Solution, the Lord gave me some things in the spirit realm to see going to happen here. And that is why you need to get a copy of this book, not because of the purchase, but because of the contents. We've not spent 2 weeks. Now we have seen the problem in Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, Donetsk, Luhansk, and all the other surrounding nations, talk less of the Western countries and the Eastern countries. We want to pray that this stops where it is. Some people are even imagining a third world war. I pray that there'll be no third world war, but we need to know the solution to all of these problems, and they are well packaged in that book, The Final Solution. The amount of money is next to nothing. Go to Amazon and buy this book. Go to the Kindle, go to KDP and buy this book. It's very important. So it is in Amazon and Kindle. And of course you can purchase the paperback, but it's not about the money. It's about the contents to have solution to Ukraine, to Russia, to the West, to the East, and indeed all parts of the world. Do get a copy and let's start operating the solution of God to our time.
Welcome back to News Echoes. The ASU strike. ASU means Academic Staff Union of Universities. Their strike has gone on for nearing 7 months now, and out of 9 months of a session, we wonder how many months the students will have to study, even if they recall the lecturers back into the university. The challenge has been that the Nigerian universities are lag far behind in terms of quality of teaching and research and affecting the community. I'm going to ask Ambassador Nat to quickly tell us in the League of Universities in Africa, which one is which one has the highest number? Which one is top most in Africa, in all of the Nigerian universities? Ambassador Nat.
Thank you very much. When you talk of Nigerian universities, I assume you are talking of public universities or federal government universities or state universities and the private universities.
Yes.
Incidentally, in Nigeria or in Africa, is a covenant university that is being mentioned, and the other ones are either we're talking of 40 or 50th position in Africa, not even to talk of the world. In the world, we are nowhere found when it comes to ranking of universities.
You mean the best university in Nigeria does not enter the first 200 of the world?
No. Well, it may be, but we are talking of below 180 position in the world, and we used to be tops before 1986 or thereabout, but now.
So, how about in Africa? Which Nigerian university tops in Africa?
Definitely, it will be the one. It will be Covenant University, which is a private university run by a church.
Why will that be? Why not University of Ibadan, Obafemi Awolowo University, University of Lagos? How
Those
can
are
Covenant came yesterday and then overtake all those great universities?
Ibadan. Those are first generation Ibadan, Ife, Usuka, and ABU. Those are old-fashioned universities. When we compare to university we have today, the it's not only the standard of academic learning has fallen, the quality of teaching, the quality of facilities, infrastructure in the universities are rotting and they are falling apart. And without this enabling environment, there cannot be any meaningful teaching and learning going on in the universities. And
We
those
understand that South Africa tops all the universities in Africa. Is that correct?
is correct, but sadly enough, it's Nigerians who are there lecturing the South African universities. It's,
I
yes,
have to go to,
I
I
have
have to,
confirmed that the research institutes, the hospitals are Nigerians, top professors. Professor, the man in University of no, not University of Lagos, the Commissioner of Health for Lagos State, Professor Abayomi, is on
Mm,
sabbatical leave or is on leave or absence from a university in South Africa, and so many
okay,
others. So when you talk of universities, we are nowhere. We are nowhere, and that's why
okay.
us people strike.
Dr. Osita, you are
Yes.
a proprietor of a university in Africa, a renowned one for that matter. How do you think we can break these jinx of ASU and federal government lock? I mean, I have listened to ASU very well. They have every reason to refuse to go and teach in a primary school glorified as university. The federal government says we have no money. Nobody believes them because we see how much the National Assemblymen take home and how much they steal. And I'm talking of the allegation against the the Accountant General of the Federation. So nobody believes the federal government, they don't have the money. It's just that their priority has not been there. But seriously speaking, how do we break these laws?
Okay, let me first talk about what the ambassadors said. The first 10 universities in Africa, apart from Cairo and I think one other country, maybe Nairobi, are from South Africa. Get that
Wow.
straight.
Mm,
And what the ambassador said is correct. In all those universities, including Nairobi, are Nigerians.
wow.
We're not kidding. When I started my PhD in the 1990s, after my coursework, we couldn't find my supervisor. He was in South Africa. And you know what? He had a leave of absence, but didn't come back to UI. You know what he did?
Wow.
He crossed over to the United States. He didn't come back again. Look, it's late now, but this is the story all the time. But let me also answer the next. Covenant isn't the first out of Nigeria. It is far away in the 20-something, 27th or 28th position. But universities that came first, second was Unilag and the University of Nigeria, out of Nigeria. But they are down below the ladder in the 20s and 30s. None of them came before. I think none of them even came before the first 25 universities in Africa. None. And then that
Wow.
answers the question that you're asking me. The
Mm.
quality and content of our universities, which was why I left teaching, was that the the federal government does not believe that the universities deserve attention, no matter what you tell
Mm.
them. And this is why the vice chancellors are angry, the college teachers are angry, and the students become the the guinea
The
pig.
pound. Mm.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, they've got a pawn in the game. If ASU, this is because I am still a member of ASU because I still receive newsletters and I still talk to them. If
Mm.
ASU goes back on this strike, it will be dead like every other thing in Nigeria. It is dead already. And your question is, why is federal government? My answer is, why doesn't federal government address power? Why don't they address food scarcity? Why don't they address security issues? Why don't they don't address anything? But being that education is the foundation for growth, being that education is the foundation for development, you expect a government that wants to keep something back when they leave. It is called legacy, to address education conscientiously. Take it as something that you want to do. Stay on it and see whether what you're doing will attract help from anyone else. No, they will not do it. Instead, when you mention Conwa now, they are what do you call it? Cultivate the relationship with another bride. They are looking to marry a second wife. They had said no, we cannot do Conwa. Conwa said let's register in 2018. They said no, because they respect ASU. Now they are going to ask that bride to come to the table because they know that they're failing. Why are they not addressing ASU issue? What has ASU asked for that the federal government cannot give? What? To give us the conditions so that we can raise our children well or better? The point is not that ASU is asking for too much. It's just that federal government cannot address anything. No sector, has been addressed.
Dr. Sita, you know what amuses me was the Festus Keyamo was saying that, everything that the Congress of University Academics needed to be registered had been completed, and
Yes.
so which means that the federal government is about to register them, and then they will now be relating with Conwa. And Conwa had said that they will not be striking, and ASU was not striking just for striking sake. He was striking for quality of education.
No. Unless Conwa is going to operate in another country, there is nobody, there is no union that has not striked in Nigeria. None. So let them not come up to say that what are they going to do differently? What are they going to do differently? Pay themselves? Are they going to teach for free? No. Are they going to go to the labs? A computer science student is drawing computer with pencil and paper. The machines are not in the labs. The machines are not in the labs. The only reason why we mention Coventry, Covenant, is that the proprietor once in a while thinks seriously about people and brings funds out to be able to make things work. It is not because they are magicians.
Where is Dr. Ibe to come and help me out? Is it because most of the children of the political elite study abroad? That is why the leaders in Nigeria don't care about education, just like they don't care about health. They go abroad for their own health needs anyway. So in education, they don't care as well. Yet the country will go down if education is not attended to. Dr. Ebe, help us out.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. Most of our politicians, their children don't study in Nigerian universities, obviously. And even if they did, they would not be subject to the same unemployment that most of them that finish from the university are subject to. Because you go to university so that you can add to the economy and you can be employed. And with the rate of unemployment, close to half of the whole population is unemployed, if not more. It's extremely sad. I also I wanted to correct something Ambassador Nat said, but Dr. Sita Emeka corrected it, saying that Nigeria is in the top 10. Only Cairo and Zimbabwe, Cairo and Kenya, are in that top 10. The rest, and they appear only once. The rest are all South Africa. But I also want to shock you a little bit. Nigeria is not only in the top 10; they are also not in the top 1,000.
In the whole world.
In the whole world, 1,000 they are not. Let me give you just a sneak preview. University of Ibadan is ranked 12,000 in the world. 12,000 something.
University of Ibadan.
Yes, and it's number one in Africa. It's in Africa. It's about 22. Yeah, It's 14 or so, yeah.
No. University of Ibadan is in the 40s. Down. It's in the
40s, yeah.
40s.
43.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I
43, yes.
But for sure, there are 12,000 something in the university ranking.
Oh yeah, Nigerian University didn't make it.
So I don't understand why we're talking about top 10, top 100, top. We are not in top 5,000. We are not. We are like way back, time machine.
Wow.
So
I
it's
hope the federal
really
government
that
is
bad.
listening to this program. I hope the federal government is listening to this program.
Or someone who will tell them. Or someone who will
Yeah.
tell them.
You know, you hit the nail on the head. They are not studying in Nigeria, and even if they were, they won't be faced with unemployment because of corruption, man, no man. It's clear that ASU's demands needs to be met. The future of our children have been held hostage for months now, 6 months. It's
8 months now.
Yeah, 8 months. Yeah, if I'm adding, yeah, okay, the other 3. Yeah, okay, 8 months. What does that say about positioning Africa to take advantage of the geopolitical and economic trends of the future? It's you can only have bad prognosis. So I cannot say it enough. We are not here to only talk about problems, maybe to provide solutions. What are the solutions? To provide infrastructure, because whatever you provide.
Do you think the registration of Cornwall is a solution? Let's get rid of ASU. Let's bring a new union that will be listening to the federal government. Will never go on strike. They will have no reagent in the laboratory. They will not have research. But this union will just keep quiet, and life will be good. Is that the solution?
No. What we need is not a competing union. Competition is always good, but what we probably need is a competing government, maybe a competing political party. I think APC has had enough. If we have somebody there else that can, that if the people had the power to bring out all these people, vote them out, and have been able to profess this in the recent past, then the education ministers would have sat up and made more sensible decision. But because the people have not always had the power to select who should be the education minister, and that is why. So we need competition at the top, and competition in terms of both political party leadership, government, because they are the ones who have failed to guarantee both infrastructure and equipment. These are two things.
Honestly, Dr. Ibe, we cannot spend 5 days enough to discuss the decay in the Nigerian university system. And we can easily observe them through the output, the new graduates that nobody would like to employ. Even some state governments say, don't put some NYC members in our secondary schools. They don't have something worthy to teach our students. I mean, is that bad? And so I know that in future we may give this more time. But Ambassador Nat, I want you to bring us up to date. Some governors say there may not be elections in their zone, especially in the northwestern zone. If there are no elections, how can we then get a competitive government like Dr. Ebe was saying? Please tell us more.
Well, so sometimes last week, a set of governors in the northwest geopolitical zone wrote a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari to update him on the level of insecurity in their zone, and with their assessment as governors who are supposed to be on ground, they told President Buhari that it doesn't seem there will be elections in the northwest zone because of insecurity. And the states,
what are the states in this northwest zone, so that our listeners and viewers can have
in the northwest zone we have 7 states, but the governors mentioned these states starting from Kebbi State, Sokoto State, Zamfara State, Jigawa State, Kano State, Kaduna State, and part of Niger.
And these are governors saying that there may not be election.
Yeah, these are governors in those individual states who spend most of their time in Abuja.
So what will be their reason? What will be their reason why there will not be elections there? Because we have to take the word of the governor seriously. I mean, it's not just they're not just somebody on the street. They say they cannot allow, I mean, it may not be possible. So what will be
Yeah.
their main reason?
Their main reason will be insecurity in those states. The bandits, the Boko Haram, the terrorists have are effectively running their states, especially in some local governments. As we also had, I don't know what the governor of Borno
Now,
state
now,
in
now,
the
now tell us, sorry, because I'm looking at the time. Tell us
yeah
what will be the implication if there is no election come 2023? What will be the immediate implication? Tell us quick.
the immediate implication one can foresee is that if there are no elections, the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says there will be elections every 4 years for each state and for the president. It means that, and there's a provision in the Constitution that where because of either war, natural disaster, and some other things, elections are not held in such states. There will be an extension. I think it's either 6 months,
That's
six
where I'm
months.
pushing you to. So there's going to be elongation of tenure, isn't it?
There will be an elongation of tenure until the situation says otherwise.
Thank you. I have to go to Dr. Anyemeka Osita, my friend. You have listened to Ambassador Nat. I watched a video clip that some people claiming to be Biafra say there will be no elections next year. They were in thousands shouting all over the road, no election. Governors in Northwest, no election. Do you think there will be election? And is this a new way of elongation of tenure?
There will be election. The
Okay,
campaign
go on.
starts. Yeah, the campaign starts next month, and campaign changes everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
campaign the trajectory of governance starts with a good campaign, and the campaign this year is amazing. The plans are already there, but the problem that we're having is the fear of these governors, including El-Rufai. El-Rufai has written a letter to the president too, begging that he no longer has control of his entire state. And then what Ambassador now said about a state like Niger, the governor permanently lives inside Abuja. They just send in reports. So when you have situations like that, you begin to ask yourself, how far will the government go? This government does not want to stay any extra day in office. They are tired. And the elections beginning next month will show you signs of what is going to happen in 2023. The country is ready. The country is ready. I'm a journalist. I understand these trends. It has happened elsewhere in the world, and it's going to keep happening until this change comes the way we want it in the entire continent. Nigeria,
Okay.
that revolution already.
Dr. Ibe, I'm finding something intriguing. Tinubu has always been called the Ashiwaju of the leader of APC. Now, it appears that the Tinubu group, they have accepted that Buhari or Shibaju failed the nation in these 7 years. And so their campaign mode is that they are separating themselves from Buhari or Shibaju, even though they are still part of APC. Will it be right for Tinubu Shetima to say to run away from Buhari or Shibaju? Because I can't understand. I think it's the same big party.
It's quite ridiculous because birds of the same feather. I think it wouldn't be unfair to even say that Tinubu will have performed better because I see some of this bragging about Lagos. Lagos is doing terribly in terms of the amount of people that have been run into extreme poverty in the last year. We have 40% of Nigerians who live on less than $1 a day. Less than $1. We're speaking. There's nothing less than $1. The only thing less than $1 is $0, which is mathematically impossible. So you should understand that when the World Bank say less than one, that is because they have no bottom to go at all. There's no bottom; it's the bottom of the pit, and they are saying that over 40%.
But what I'm saying is that the leader of, because Ashwaju is always called the leader of APC. Now he's running away from the mismanagement of the Buhari regime.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm drawing the dots. I'm connecting the dots. Lagos itself, that is being claimed as a success. It's home. It's the city with the largest number of extreme poverty in the world. It's number 2 after Damascus, where there's a civil war. It's number 2 after only Damascus.
Shetima 3 days ago said that they're going to move Lagos, Nigeria, like they did in Lagos and Borno. Do you agree with him?
That is the height of suicidal thoughts, because taking us to where more millions of people have been exposed, tens of millions have been exposed to abject poverty, 40 plus have been exposed to living. And we're supposed to speak about family in Nigeria. A family in Nigeria is what, 4 or 5 children. That means in total there are six people living on less than $1 a day, subject to extreme poverty. How can you use that as a case study? There's no infrastructure, no stable light. We don't even have water. We are close to the Atlantic, for God's sake. We don't have water, clean water, despite being close. We have food inflation despite having tropical climate. Russia has lots of winter, but they are supplying wheat to Nigeria with tropical climate, and you're using it as a case study. There's nothing to be proud of. We shouldn't aim so low that
let me jump to Europe. Marky Milan, the NBA convention, or the NBA conference as they called it, brought these 3 political parties to forefront. That is Shetima representing APC, Atiku representing PDP, and Obi representing Labour Party. What's your take on these, on the outcome of their meetings there? Because we're talking politics any moment from now.
Yes, sir. Well, that looked like a presidential debate set on by the NBA. But before I also go further, I want to say that Shetima's speech has a lot of fact check to it, and most of what he said were incorrect. They are not verified. He gave wrong data, and he exaggerated a lot of things. Shetima, the APC vice president candidate. So that platform there looked very much like a presidential debate, and we can all agree that the Labour man made a better presentation. It has actually come with so many backlashes, so many feedback.
But why was Tinubu not there? Was it for health grounds or what?
Well,
we don't know.
We don't know, but one thing we know is he wasn't even in Nigeria at that time. He was somewhere in Europe, and he was also, he's a Maradona in politics, so he was probably connecting some other arrangements behind the scene. So anyway, that was a very good. The NBA did something very grand. It was a beautiful atmosphere. We had all of them speak.
Quick question for you. Osita said there will be election next year. Do you think there will be election the way we are going?
Well, not only Osita, not only the situation in Nigeria, the UK government, the embassy of Great Britain in Nigeria, an official there called Chris, also said so last month. He said as a result of the growing concern in security across Nigeria, that there might not be election come 2023. But we're going to shock all the naysayers. There will be election, because this is the only way to...
Okay. Let me ask Godwin, Dr. Ibe, in Russia, do you think there will be election?
There will be election. There might be some difficulties.
Okay. Ambassador Nat, do you think there will be election?
I have no answer to that question.
Why not?
No, because I don't know.
Oh, okay. Dr. Sita, you said there won't be. You said there will be an election.
Yes, definitely election. Campaign starts next month. It changes everything.
All right, my friends all over the world, it's my duty to thank you all. Russia, Moscow is our friend Dr. Godwin Ibe. Mark in Milan, that part of Italy, bearing on the Olympics 2026. We thank you very much. Our man in East London, Ambassador Nati Yakwo, thank you very much. And the man at the seat, he said there will be election, speaking emphatically, Dr. Sita Anyemeka, proprietor of a diplomacy university in Africa. Thank you very much. It's my duty to thank the crew in Italy who has made it possible for us to meet you. Until next Wednesday, when we bring the rest of you, but the Lord God bless you all. Bye bye.